शुक्लां भरधरं विष्णुं शशिवर्णं चतुर्भुजं प्रसन्नवदनं ध्यायेत् सर्वविघ्नोपशान्तये। सरस्वती नमस्तुभ्यं वरदे कामरूपिणे विद्यारम्भं करिष्यामि सिद्धिर्भवतु मे सदा। गुरुब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुः साक्षात् परब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। ज्ञानमूलं गुरोर्मूर्तिः पूजामूलं गुरोः पदं मन्त्रमूलं गुरोर्वाक्यं मोक्षमूलं गुरोः कृपः। नमोऽस्तु ते व्यासविशालबुद्धे पुल्लारविन्दायतपत्रनेत्र येन त्वया भारततैलपूर्णः प्रज्वालितो ज्ञानमयः प्रदीपः। वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुम्। My humble prostrations to the lotus feet of my Pujya Gurudev, Pujya Sadguru, Sri 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 Sai Kumar Ji. My namaskarams to Ashram's 𝘤𝘪𝘴 Sri 𝘰𝑓𝑡𝑒𝑚𝑎 Ji and Sai 𝘠𝑚 to all of you. A very warm welcome to all of you. Today, we are entering the 8th room in the mansion of the Bhagavad Gita. This chapter deals with Akshara Parabrahma Yoga, the yoga of imperishable Brahman. Kshara means that which perishes. Akshara means that which does not perish. Imperishable, that which is imperishable. Since the discourse deals with the imperishable Brahman, this chapter is entitled as Akshara Parabrahma Yoga. In this chapter, Arjuna has raised a few questions. He puts forth a few questions to Sri Krishna. From this, it is clearly understood that the eagerness of Arjuna, he was very curious to know about the ultimate truth. The more the intensity of curiosity to know on the part of the disciple, the greater is the delight on the part of the Guru to instruct him. Why? As we already discussed, the Guru is holding the pot of nectar, ready to hand over to his disciple. It is only the disciple should ask and he is ready to give. So Arjuna is very eager, very keen to know about the ultimate truth. And Sri Krishna is very eager to reveal it to him, that knowledge. Of the questions raised by Arjuna, two questions are very important. The first question is, what is Brahman? Then, what is the nature of God? What is Brahman? That is, what is the nature of God? All the religions in the world are trying to know the nature of God. The form of God is indestructibility according to Sri Krishna in the 8th chapter. He says, he is Omkara, the Lord is Omkara. Who is God? That which is not subject to destruction, that alone is God, says Sri Krishna in this 8th chapter. Once Mahatma Gandhi went to London for the Roundtable Conference. There, the director of the Columbia Broadcasting Company questioned Gandhiji, "Who is God?" And do you know what Gandhiji replied? Gandhiji said, "Although all the movable and immovable objects in the world around me are subject to change, are subject to decay, but the substratum that is holding all these, the conscious force that is not subject to any change, to any decay, is the basis of them. That alone, that supreme consciousness, that cosmic energy alone is God." The director was so impressed by Gandhiji's reply. He was immensely pleased. So what he did, he immediately gifted him 1 lakh rupees and submitted to Gandhiji saying, "I have accomplished my objective." So Gandhiji elucidated the principle of imperishability revealed in the Gita. Sri Adi Shankaracharya proclaimed in the Guru Ashtakam, "𝘙𝘪𝑚𝑗𝑎𝑑𝑖 𝘕𝑒𝑑𝑜 𝘚𝑀𝑢𝑘𝑒 𝑠∫𝑠∫𝑠ुपद्यं 𝘠𝑎𝑟𝑜𝑡ِ 𝘠𝑚नश्चेन 𝑙ग्नं 𝘠𝑢𝑟𝑎𝑛𝑔ْरि Adi Shankaracharya says, 𝘙𝑟𝑚𝑗𝑎𝑑𝑖 the knowledge of the Vedas and the scriptures may be on one's lips. They may be reciting from the beginning to the end very fluently. Kavitvadi gadyam supadyam karoti. One may compose fine poems and prose. Poems and prose one may compose. Manaschena lagnam 𝘠𝑚𝑛𝑔ْri padme. Yet, if the mind is not centered upon the Guru's feet, tathakim, 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 of what use is life? Of what use is this? Of what use is this? Of what use is this? Meaning, of what use is this life? Adi Shankaracharya says that even if one has studied the Vedas completely from beginning to end, has become proficient in all forms of knowledge, has the ability to recite poems and compose prose without any hindrance. But if one's mind is not centered in the lotus feet of the Guru, what is the use? What is the use? What is the use? What is the use? 4 times he repeats this. Tatakim, 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 tatakim. So according to Adi Shankaracharya, along with our daily duties, along with whatever obligatory duties we are fulfilling in this world, along with that, we should not forget the path of liberation also. In spite of possessing plenty of wealth, abundant wealth, in spite of having all the learning, if one does not know his self, if one is not acquainted with the imperishable Parabrahman, life is futile. This is according to Adi Shankaracharya. Imagine you pack a beautiful gift for your dad, for your father who's staying far away. On Father's Day, you want to send it for the Father's Day. You write Happy Father's Day. You pack a beautiful gift. The packing is so attractive. In a beautiful silver foil packing paper, you wrap it up with the decorated satin ribbons and artificial flowers. It looks so pretty, so enticing also. And that You want to send it by courier. You go to the courier office, they seal it up in a parcel like thing, and you have to write the address. If you don't mention the complete address without the phone number, will it reach its destination? No, it cannot. Even if it is an ordinary card and you send it by courier with the address mentioned completely, complete address mentioned with the phone, it can travel thousands of miles also and reach its destination. Similarly, despite the fact that one does not possess worldly forms of education, if one is endowed with sacredness, if one does not have any knowledge, no education at all, he is unlettered, but he is kind-hearted, he is compassionate, he is loving, he does selfless service, the purity of heart is there, then he can realize the Brahman, he can show light to the entire world. Realizing himself, he can make others realize. He can experience peace, happiness in this life itself. Though he is unlettered, yet in his heart, Brahman shines. So he becomes the most educated. You can say he's the most educated because he knows the Brahman. He is experiencing the Brahman. Even though one is proficient in all types of learning, he may be a scholar, an intellectual person, yet he does not know anything about Brahman. He is ignorant about it. Such a person is equal to an illiterate. But this does not mean that you can come to the conclusion that secular form of knowledge is good for nothing. No, you need the secular form of knowledge. You need knowledge of the world, the worldly affairs, all the sciences we have in this world. It's necessary for us to survive in this world. It only means that along with that worldly knowledge, one should possess knowledge of Brahman too. Long ago, there was a scholar, a proficient scholar, who was on a pilgrimage tour. So he had to cross a river. There was only a small boat there and the boatman. So he makes a deal with the boatman to ferry him across the river. The boatman agrees and this scholar sits in the boat. So the boatman starts ferrying him across the river. After some time, this scholar was very egoistic. He was egoistic of his knowledge, of his wisdom. So he asks the fisherman, do you know the science of logic? That fisherman happened to be an unlettered man. He just shook his head and said, no. Then this scholar said, oh my goodness, you have wasted quarter in your life. A quarter of your life has been wasted. Don't you know the science of logic? It's okay. At least now learn from people like me. That boatman doesn't understand anything. He keeps rowing the boat. After some time, he again asks this scholar, do you know Mimamsa? First, let us know what is Mimamsa. We should know. Mimamsa means one of the 6 systems of Indian philosophy known as darshanas. It is the fundamental to the Vedanta. So all these darshanas are known as Mimamsa. He asked, do you know Mimamsa? So the boatman shook his head, no, saying he doesn't know. Ayyo, another quarter of your life has been wasted. You don't know what is 𝑚īmāṁsa. He says, I don't know what is 𝑚īmāṁsa. He happened to be a Telugu man. Mamsa means meat, flesh. I don't know 𝑚īmāṁsa, but I know my mamsa. Meaning to say, I know about my body, my flesh. So he gets all the more irritated, the scholar. After some time, the scholar asks him again, okay, now tell me, at least do you know what astrology is about? He says, I don't know anything, sir. Not at all. Again, he gets irritated. He says, another quarter of your life has been wasted. So he keeps on rowing the boatman. By the time they come to the middle of the river, they're in the center of the river. By the time there is a change, a drastic change in the atmosphere. The whole sky is pervaded by darkness. There is thundering and there's a sudden pour of rain and very heavy rain. And the wind started blowing in such a way, such rapid wind, the boat started tossing from one side to the other. So at this point of time, the fisherman opens his mouth and speaks, sir, do you know swimming? The scholar says, no, I don't know swimming. Then this fisherman tells, see, because I don't know the science of logic, about 𝑚īmāṁsa, about astrology, 3/4 of my life has been wasted. But as you do not know swimming, your entire life is wasted. Saying this, he jumps into the water, into the river, swims across and gets to the shore. And by that time, the water seeps into the boat, it drowns, and the scholar also drowns, gets drowned in the river. This is the learning. So of what help did all his erudite scholarship come to that intellectual person? The type of education needed in the midst of the river is swimming. Knowledge, you should know how to swim. At that time, neither the science of logic, nor 𝑚īmāṁsa, nor astrology, nor environmental science, nor computer science, nothing can help us. Only swimming will help us to cross the river. For one who is drowning in the ocean of worldly life, suffering with the miseries of birth and death, for such a person, the knowledge of Brahman can save him. Knowledge of the imperishable ultimate reality. That knowledge alone can rescue the jiva from the ocean of worldly life. Hence, it is called the science of liberation. In order to get miseries, in order to get relief from the miseries of worldly life, man has to take recourse to it. What? The science of liberation. So the Lord is instructing about such imperishable ultimate reality in this chapter to Arjuna. Again, Arjuna asks another question. How should one meditate? How should one meditate? We have recognized the Lord's form is imperishable. The Supreme Being has infinite crores of names, but the sacred syllable Om, which does not belong to any religion nor any tradition, which contains everything in it, which is the essence of the Vedas, which by mere utterance makes the jiva holy, is the most powerful and greatest of all. Om is the origin of creation. So here, Sri Krishna is talking about the significance of Omkara. Om is the origin of creation. It is the fundamental truth, the ultimate eternal, and the all-pervading conscious principle. Om is beyond the three periods of time. Now, for example, take the mud. Mud is the origin for all earthen pots. The earthen pots are created, prepared, and destroyed in the mud. They become one with the mud. Even when the earthen pots are broken, the mud remains the same. Likewise, Om is unchangeable. It is not subject to change, and it exists in the three periods of time, past, present, and future. Akara, Ukara, Makara, Adi Murtula Akaram, 𝘤𝘰𝘷𝘦𝘳𝘪𝘴 Omkaram, says Pujya Sadhguruji. Akara, Ukara, Makara. Akara, the creator Brahma. Ukara, Pushyate, sustainer Vishnu. Makara, Mashyate, annihilator. Ashyate, Ushyate, Mashyate. Ashyate means Brahma, the creator. Ushyate, sustainer Vishnu. Mashyate, annihilator Shiva. So Pranava or Om is the embodiment of the Trinity, Brahma, Vishnu, and Maheshwara. Om, being the substratum of all the unmanifested and manifested objects, it is considered as the root mantra. All mantras begin with Om. Om is very, very auspicious. Any mantra begins with Om only. Om is said to be the Shabda Brahman. Why? It is the origin of all sounds. All the sounds in the universe begin from the sound of Om and merge with the sound Om. The first word that we utter, or the first sound that we utter when the baby comes out of the mother's womb is Ah. The baby cries. So what is the sound? Ah. And when it closes its mouth, what is the sound? Om. Om is not O-M, it is A-U-M. Oh, it is Om. Ashyate, Ushyate, Mashyate. Akara, Ukara, Makara. So, when we close the lips, it is with the sound M. In between these two sounds, and M, U falls. 𝘴𝘦𝘴𝑘𝑎𝑎𝑎𝑟 Brahma, says Sri Krishna. Whosoever leaves this body by chanting Om and concentrating on my form, such a person shall attain the highest state. If this Pranava mantra is chanted, understanding its meaning and significance, one can attain the Supreme Lord. One should understand the significance. While chanting, it is just not mechanical chanting. You should understand its significance. Then only you will get 100% results. The sound vibrations produced by the chanting of Om controls the tossing of the mind and puts an end to the thought flow. Recharge the brain with Omkar, says Sadhguruji. It has tremendous influence on the brain. See, the body takes rest, but the brain does not take any rest. It keeps on working 24 hours a day. So to recharge, just as you recharge your phone, recharge the brain with the chanting of Omkara. As the birds flee from the tree tops at the loud clapping, even so, by the constant chanting of Omkara, flee from us the deeply seated evils of Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Mada, Matsarya, all the 6 vicious enemies. Om is a Kanaka for all ailments. The benefits of chanting Om are plenty. It relieves headache. If you have a headache, you can get rid of it. You can get rid of your fatigue. It reduces anger, mental tension. all types of psychosomatic diseases, increases willpower, memory power, prevents high BP, improves concentration, and leads man to God. Om is the royal road leading to the attainment of salvation. Shall we chant Om 3 times, all of us? It's so important. Just take a deep breath, close your eyes, clasp your hands together, close your eyes, sit straight. Even if you're sitting on a chair, no problem. See that your spine, your back is straight. Take a deep breath. Ready? Just as a fountain goes up and comes down, even so, you should take your Om, go up and slowly Om, come down. That is chanting of Omkara. You should do this every day early in the morning, at least 21 times. For students, after chanting Omkara, they should drink 1 cup of cow milk if possible. They should eat 1 walnut too. It enhances memory power. It will help them in their examination time. Arjuna again asked another question as to how the jiva should be at the time of leaving the body and how he should meditate on God. In response, Krishna taught him the truth of the indestructible ultimate Brahman and the meditation of Pranava. Just now we discussed the meditation of Pranava. So, how the jiva should be at the time of leaving the body. Sri Krishna says, Antakale 𝘕𝘠𝘨av𝘢d 𝘎𝘪𝘗𝑎𝑒 𝘕prayati samadbhavam yati nastyatra samshayah. He who casts off the body at the time of death and goes forth remembering me only attains my being. There is no doubt in this. Antakale 𝘕𝘠. 𝘕𝘠 means also, and it is declared that whoever thinks of the Lord at the moment of death also, Antakale 𝘕𝘠, the importance is given to 𝘕𝘠, at the time of death also attains his being. That means whoever thinks of the Lord at the moment of that also, throughout your life you have to think, and at the time of death also. It means that the seeker has to think of the Lord not only during his lifetime, but at the time of death also. Krishna did not say that he should be remembered only at the time of death. Unless the mind is saturated with divine thoughts by long and steady practice, it is impossible to remember the Lord at the time of death. To play a role in a drama, the actor has to go through training, memorizing his part. There's so much of training. You want to participate in a concert in the college. For the dramatization, you need so much of practice. First, you vocally, you practice your dialogues. Then again, you enact them. Then again, whatever dress you have to wear, the costume. After wearing the costume, again you rehearsal. Then you have a final rehearsal in front of the principal. Then comes the play on the stage, the drama. There's so much preparation for that. To pass an examination also, you must prepare for so many years. You want to hold the MTech PG degree. First, you have to complete your BTech. Then again, you have to write an entrance test for MTech. You have to get through. Then again, study MTech for another 2 years. Such a long process. So much preparation is essential. Even so, intense sadhana during a whole lifetime is essential for attaining the Lord by fixing the mind on Him at the time of death. You climb a ladder and reach the last rung, but suddenly you slip and fall off. What a disaster that is. So Sri Krishna exhorts all mankind to keep the light of knowledge bright till the last moment of life. Mameva, he says, Mameva in the sloka. Antakalecha Mameva. Mameva means think of me only. Mameva, me only. That means think of me only is the Lord's command. Nothing can save man from the bonds of samsara except the one-pointed absorption in the Supreme Lord. If man wants peace and perfection, he should seek refuge in the Lord's holy feet, because He is the giver of liberation. 𝘤𝘦𝘴𝘦𝘳𝘪𝘴. Whatever form or object the dying man thinks, that he will obtain when he takes a new birth. So whatever you think of at the time of that, you take that form only. All of us may be knowing the story of 𝘸𝘰𝘷𝘦𝘳𝘪𝘴. 𝘸𝘰𝘷𝘦𝘳𝘪𝘴 was a king who renounced everything.
Hello? Who
renounced everything. 𝘸𝘷𝘦𝘳𝘪𝘴 was a great king who renounced all his royal pleasures and kingdom and took up the path of a renunciate. He renounced everything, went to the forest, just wore cotton ochre robe, one simple robe, and spent his life in penance. He was leading a peaceful life. He had a small hut, a hermitage-like, and all alone he was dwelling in that hut, doing his penance. One day it so happened that while he was offering oblations to the sun god, he saw a deer, a pregnant deer, giving birth to its fawn and then died. The pregnant deer, after delivering its fawn, it breathed its last. When he saw the fawn there, 𝘸𝘷𝘦𝘴𝘦𝘳𝘪𝘴 took pity on it. After finishing his oblations, he picked up the fawn and took it to his hermitage. He thought, who will take care of this little one? Its mother passed away. Let me take care of it. And he started pampering it, feeding it with milk. Then after it grew a little big, he started getting grass for it. He became so attached to it, he could not spend a moment without the fawn accompanying him. Even while he was doing penance, that fawn had to sit beside him. That was his attachment. And during his last stage of life, when 𝘸𝘷𝘦𝘴𝘦𝘳𝘪𝘴 was dying, all his thoughts were on the fawn. He was wondering, who will take care of the fawn after I die? What will happen to that fawn? There's nobody in this forest to take care of that fawn. What will happen to my dear little fawn? Worrying about that fawn, he breathed his last. And in his next birth, 𝘕𝘩𝘪𝘴 was born as a deer. So, 𝘰𝘦𝑚 𝑣𝑎𝑝 this is the law. We should understand the law of karma. See, this is the law. Whatever you think, so you become. In the last minute, while dying, he thought of the fawn and he was born as a deer. Every sensible person should be extremely careful to choose and select only noble and spiritual thoughts to fill the mind. This should be practiced throughout one's life so that at the time of death, he is free from all secondary thoughts except the thought of the divine. So we should make it a practice that we should be devoted, we should practice meditation. All this, we should make it a part of our life. Devotion, meditation, study of the Gita or any other scriptures, attending satsangs, undertaking acts of charity, selfless service. All these should be practiced sincerely. By doing so, divine thoughts permeate the mind and determine the future birth of man. That is why sadhana is prescribed from childhood itself. When the mind is in childhood, we are full of innocence. The mind is in all its purity, free from the venom and ugliness of worldly thoughts. Therefore, each and every person is responsible for his or her freedom and bondage. If I'm in freedom, it's my responsibility. If I'm in bondage, that is also my responsibility. It is according to our acts. We are either in freedom or in bondage. If we forget entertaining the thoughts of God or chanting of the divine name for even a moment, immediately Maya will overpower us and sway us into the wrong path. In the last session, we discussed about the power of Maya, the inscrutable power of Maya. At any time, it can overtake the person if he is negligent. I hope you remember the story which I was talking about, 𝘰𝘰𝘷𝘦, a guru telling 𝘰𝘰𝘷𝘦, like till the last breath of his life, he was alert that Maya doesn't overpower him. So till the last breath of life, one has to be very careful, very vigilant. Once, Vishnu called Maya and reprimanded her, saying, "Because of you, Maya, none of the jivas are coming to my abode. They are all going to hell, undergoing its tortures and entangling in the cycle of birth and death. Go away far from me, Maya. No, you go away from me so that people will come to me." This is what Sri Vishnu said. To this, Maya said, "Okay, my lord, as you say, but please let me know where you are not there. I will go there. Please let me know where you are not there." So what will the Lord say? He is all-pervading. He is omnipotent, omniscient, omnipresent. He is present everywhere. So Maya and the Lord are like the two faces of a single coin. Wherever the Lord is, there Maya is sure to be there. Worldly life is enveloped by Maya, whereas the abode of the Supreme Self transcends Maya. Worldly life is the abode of pain, and the abode of the Supreme Self is the abode of happiness. One is impermanent, the other is permanent. The two are different, like an elephant and a mosquito. However, owing to the sins of the previous births, owing to our own karmic afflictions, own karmic accounts of our previous births, we ordinary human beings prefer the state of worldly life. Whatever we say, whatever satsangs we listen to, nothing goes into our ears. We prefer the state of worldly life and are indifferent to the blissful abode of the Lord. An aircraft flies swiftly, crosses the 7 oceans, and within a few moments, it has to make its landing. But something goes wrong in the engine and it crashes suddenly. A student struggles day and night for many years to obtain a professional qualification. Unfortunately, a disobedient student is up to mischief and throws a folded chit with important notes during the examination. The invigilator in the examination hall mistakes the studious student for copying and debars him from the college. What happens to the struggle he underwent all those 5 years? Likewise, doing sadhana a whole lifetime and abandoning it during the end moment of life, Maya will overpower you. Hence, one should be very cautious. 𝘰𝘩𝘕𝘊𝘆 𝘨𝑎𝑣𝑔, Sri Krishna says, not only during the end time of your life, but throughout your life and also during the end time of your life, you have to remember me. 𝘰𝘩𝘕 𝘨𝑎𝑣𝑔 𝑠ْमरन्-ūkva kale-baram. Sadhguruji says, when the body is fit and healthy, before the senses lose their natural propensities, before the mind becomes fickle, before depression overpowers you, before a cyst is formed in the brain, before old age approaches, before death looms large on your face, walk ahead and lay yourself in the lap of the divine. Climb the ladder of sadhana sopan, very, very careful. If you are hasty, your step will falter and there are chances of you falling down, even from the topmost rung of the ladder. Approach the Guru. Kindle your heart with the lamp of knowledge. To light a lamp, you need another burning lamp. And what is that burning lamp? That is your Guru. Just don't go to the Guru for fulfilling your worldly affairs. Please bless me, Gurudev. I may get a promotion. Please bless me, Gurudev, that my salary is increased, my business flourishes. You ask, there's nothing wrong in asking, but at the same time, incline yourself to the path of spirituality also, because this precious human life is got after so many lakhs of species, crossing so many lakhs of species of human life. So we should not waste a minute. We do not know, again, whether we will be blessed again with this human birth or not. It all depends upon our karmic account. So this karmic account, what we will do should be very, very good. Now, just compare the body to the earthen lamp. Take the earthen lamp of your body, pour in it the oil of devotion, bhakti, and place in it the wick of ekagrata. And then only the Guru will light the lamp of knowledge in you. Until and unless you don't prepare your body as a diya, as a lamp, as an earthen lamp, and pour the oil of bhakti and place the wick of ekagrata in it, the Guru will not light the lamp of knowledge. Without purity of mind, jnana is not achieved. Even after attaining jnana, it is rare indeed to get liberation. Hence, it is by constant repetition of the divine name and dharmic deeds, one can get rid of past negative karmic accounts. If you want to get rid of your past karmic accounts, negative karmic accounts, as we say, afflictions, karmic afflictions, if you want to get rid of your karma doshas or karmic afflictions, from now itself, bring a change, a transformation in your life. so that you become a better person. Start undertaking dharmic deeds and start the constant repetition of the divine name and tread the path of righteousness. This is the only way to redeem ourselves once we have attained this precious human birth. How can we focus the mind on God each moment of our life? You may be getting scared. What is Gita Ma saying? Constant repetition of the divine name. How can we keep chanting when we are in the office? Yes, that's true. You have to concentrate, put 100% commitment in your work, what you're doing. Now, remember, a mother leaves a small baby in the garden, a 2-year baby or 3-year baby in the garden to play. She gives the baby a ball and asks the baby to play with the ball in the garden. The mother stands in one corner or she sits there and watches the baby play. The baby keeps playing with the ball and now and then it gives a turn. It turns back and sees, where is my mother? Where is my mama? The moment she turns back, the baby turns back, the mother says, baby, I'm here. Don't worry. I'm here only. Come on, go play. Play with your ball. That's what the mother says. Even so, like the baby, while executing our duties in the office, while executing our domestic work in the house, just turn your mind every 15 minutes or 20 minutes. Think of the Lord. Be grateful to Him. Count your blessings and offer your gratitude to Him. It is not that you should forget the Lord the whole day after your puja. No. Now and then, like the baby that keeps turning and looking, whether its mama is there or not, even so, just turn back and remember the Lord. Even the Lord will say, my child, I am with you. Come on, proceed in your life. Do your work. I am with you. He'll give His benediction. That's how we should remember God in this word. Tamper the mind. Never give a command to the mind. Never give a command. 𝘰𝘷𝘦𝘳𝘪𝘴. The Shastras say, 𝘰𝘷𝘦𝘳𝘪𝘴 means you should pamper the mind like a child. How you sing lullabies for the baby, like that is pampering the child. Like that you have to pamper the mind. You have to tell, hey mind, please obey my words. How many births have passed by? You have enjoyed all the delicious dishes. You have seen everything that you wanted to see. You blabbered whatever you wanted to blabber. At least now withdraw your thoughts and bring it to a focal point. Don't waste this precious life of mine. Please request the mind, but don't command it. If you command, now you scold your child. You say, shut up, idiot. What the child will say? You also shut up, idiot, he'll say. He'll rebuke. What you say, he'll repeat. Even the mind is like that. If you command it, that in turn will command you. So, 𝘰𝘷𝘦𝘳𝘪𝘴. You pamper it with sweet words before sitting in meditation. In this way, try to control the wavering mind. There is no time and restrictions for the chanting of the divine name. The divine name can be chanted anytime, anywhere, without limitation of time, place, and situation, because we do not know when the telegram of death will approach us. We should be ever alert. Remember this sloka, Antakale 𝘠𝘩𝑚𝑎v𝘢d 𝘎𝘪𝘴. The 𝘠 only is enough for us. Also, not only during that time, also the whole lifetime you should keep remembering me. That's what Sri Krishna is saying. Once there was a wealthy man who never believed in God. He was an atheist. He was on his deathbed. He had 3 sons, and all these 3 were very compassionate, kind-hearted, and they believed in God. They were, you can say, they were ardent devotees of Lord Vishnu. So this man was suffering on the bed. He was in last stages. So they, not even once in his lifetime did he take the name of God. So the younger son thought, I should make my father utter the name of God. He tells, Father, say Om. When he says Om, he'll say Om. Then again he'll say Shiva. He'll say Ush. Like, say Rama means Amma. Like that. But he did not utter anything. So the son thinks, no, my father is going to die now. At least he should say, no, Daddy, say Narayana. Nah, he doesn't say. Then an idea strikes him. He goes to the puja altar, gets a coconut from there, brings the coconut, and he removes the coir. What do you call the coir in Telugu? Nara. So he thinks, at least if my father will say Nara, it's enough for me. Half the name of Narayana. He's not uttering Narayana. Let him say Nara, enough. So he'll show that and say, Daddy, what is this? Tell me, what is this? And to his surprise, the father says, Pichu. He won't say Nara. The other name for Nara is coir. You call it Pichu in Telugu. He won't say Nara, he says Pichu. He says Pichu and closes his eyes. That's all. So at last, this is the state of affairs of a person who is not acquainted with divinity. His tongue will not accept to utter, who does not chant the name of God even once during his entire lifespan. Once in a marketplace, two friends happened to meet each other. One was a fisherwoman and another was a florist selling jasmines. It was pouring very heavily. They used to make their business in the same marketplace. So that day they happened to meet together. As it was pouring, the florist tells her friend, fisherwoman, why don't you come to my house? Your house is far away. You can't go in this heavy rain. You can go tomorrow morning. You can spend the night with me. We'll gossip together. So she takes a basket, her fish basket, and goes there. There they sit. She prepares food for her friend. Both of them eat together. Then they gossip for a long time. You know how women gossip. They keep gossiping for a long time. All the trifling matters about their families. Then in the late hour of the night, they go to sleep. So she is given a room, this fisherwoman, to sleep. And that room is full of jasmines, spreading fragrance everywhere. There is fragrance all around. So this fisherwoman keeps a basket outside in the courtyard, in the backyard of the house, and goes to sleep in the room. But she doesn't get sleep. That jasmine smell, with the jasmine smell, she gets headache. She thinks, oh my God, I can't sleep with this stink. That is stench for her. The fragrance of the jasmines is like stench for her. She thinks, where is my fish basket? Without it, I can't go to sleep. She goes to the backyard, gets her fish basket, keeps it near her head, and goes to sleep. And once she gets her fish basket and keeps it near her head, oh, she smiles to herself. Bah, now I can have a nice sleep, comfortable sleep. She takes in a deep breath as if she's inhaling perfume, and that she's inhaling the stench, and she feels she's inhaling fragrance. The stench of the fish basket is like perfume to her. Imagine. Like the fisherwoman in the story, we are disgusted with the blissful truth of the Supreme Self. 90% of the people don't follow the path of spirituality. Why? Because we are like the fisherwoman. We are wasting our life by indulging in the pursuit of useless things. Datam dataha, whatever has happened. Forget about it. At least now, if man corrects his life and follows the right path, practice devotion and meditation, Devotion in the sense does not mean that you have to sit in the puja place and go on chanting Namaha, Namaha, Ashtotaras after Ashtotaras, keep on turning the agarbatti, the arati. No. Devotion in the sense means lead a rightful life, lead a truthful life, do good deeds, think noble, do noble. That's all. That is devotion. And meditate, contemplate upon yourself, accomplish the ideal of ultimate bliss. Life attains fulfillment then only. There is no other task superior to this in the world. One cannot gain more than this anywhere. Hence, be prepared to follow the path of divinity, because this human birth is a rare gift of God. You will know in the 15th chapter how we got this human birth. So once we have attained this perfect human body with no flaws, we have 2 perfect eyes to see, 2 perfect ears to hear, 1 perfect mouth to talk. So we have perfect limbs, 2 legs, 2 hands, and we are able to do everything. We are neither deaf, we are neither lame, we are neither crippled, we are neither dumb. Nothing. There are no shortcomings. We have everything to the asking, and we are getting not 1 or 2, 4 square meals a day. We have everything. So it is high time we realize the value of this human birth. So today we end this session with a thought: where there is faith, there is devotion. Where there is devotion, there is purity. Where there is purity, there is God. And where there is God, there is bliss. So now let's repeat the slokas. Today we'll be learning the 8th sloka from the Dhyana slokas, and then we'll go to the 8th chapter sloka. Shall we start? The 8th Dhyana sloka. 𝘭𝑟𝑎𝑠𝑎𝑟𝑦𝑎 𝑣𝑐𝑠
𝑝ārāsarya-vacas-sarojamamalam 𝑝ārāsarya-vacas-sarojamamalam 𝑝ārāsarya-vacas-sarojamamalam
गीतार्थगन्धोत्कटम्
गीतार्धगन्धोत्कटं गीतार्धगन्धोत्कटं गीतार्धगन्धोत्कटं
नानाख्यानककेसरं हरिकथा
नानाख्यानककेसरं हरिकथा नानाख्यानककेसरं हरिकथा नानाख्यानककेसरं हरिकथा
संबोधना बोधितम्
संबोधना बोधितम् संबोधना बोधितम् संबोधना बोधितम्
पाराशर्यवचः सरोजममलं गीतार्थगन्धोत्कटम्
पाराशर्यवचः सरोजममलं गीतार्धगन्धोत्कटम्
नानाख्यानककेसरं हरिकथा संबोधना बोधितम्
नानाख्यानककेसरं हरिकथा संबोधना बोधितम्.
Now we'll go to the 8th chapter sloka. Antakale cha mameva
अंतकाले च मामेव अन्तकाले च मामेव अन्तकाले च मामेव
स्मरन्मुक्त्वा कलेवरम्
स्मरन्मुक्त्वा कलेवरम् स्मरन्मुक्त्वा कलेवरम् स्मरन्मुक्त्वा कलेवरम्
यः प्रयाति समद्भावम्
यः प्रयाति समद्भावम् यः प्रयाति समद्भावम् यः प्रयाति समद्भावम्
याति नास्त्यत्र संशयः
याति नास्त्यत्र संशयः याति नास्त्यत्र संशयः याति नास्त्यत्र संशयः
अन्तकाले च मामेव स्मरन्मुक्त्वा कलेवरम्
अन्तकाले च मामेव स्मरन्मुक्त्वा कलेवरम् यः
प्रयाति समद्भावम् याति नास्त्यत्र संशयः
यः प्रयाति समद्भावम् याति नास्त्यत्र संशयः.
Now we'll repeat from the beginning, from Parthaya, a revision. Start.
ॐ पार्थाय प्रतिबोधितां भगवता नारायणेन स्वयं व्यासेन ग्रथितां पुराणमुनिना मध्ये महाभारतम् अद्वैतामृतवर्षिणीं भगवतीम् अष्टादशाध्यायिनीम् अम्ब त्वाम् अनुसन्दधामि भगवद्गीते भवद्वेषिणीम् नमोऽस्तु ते व्यासविशालबुद्धे पुल्लारविन्दायतपत्रनेत्र येन त्वया भारततैलपूर्णः प्रज्वालितो ज्ञानमयः प्रदीपः प्रपन्नपारिजाताय स्तोत्रवेत्रैकपाणये ज्ञानमुद्राय कृष्णाय गीतामृतदुहे नमः. सर्वोपनिषदो गावो दोग्धा गोपालनन्दनः पार्थो वत्सः सुधीर्भोक्ता दुग्धं गीतामृतं महते. वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनम् देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुम्. भीष्मद्रोणतटा जयद्रथजला गान्धारनीलोत्पला शल्यग्राहवती कृपेण वहने कर्णेन वेलाकुला अश्वत्थामविकर्णघोरमकरा दुर्योधनवर्तिनी सोत्तीर्णा खलु पाण्डवैः रणनदी कैवर्तका केशवः. पाराशर्यवचः सरोजममलं गीतार्धगन्धोद्घटम् नानाज्ञानककेसरं हरिकथा सम्बोधनाबोधितम्. ॐ श्री परमात्मने नमः. अथ श्रीमद्भगवद्गीता धृतराष्ट्र उवाच धर्मक्षेत्रे कुरुक्षेत्रे समवेतायुयुत्सवः मामकः पाण्डवाश्चैव किमकुर्वत सञ्जय अर्जुन उवाच न काङ्क्षे विजयं कृष्ण न च राज्यं सुखानि च किं नो राज्येन गोविन्द किं भोगैर्जीवितेन वा श्रीभगवानुवाच जातस्य हि ध्रुवो मृत्युः ध्रुवं जन्म मृतस्य च तस्मादपरिहार्येऽर्थे न त्वं शोचितुमर्हसि नियतं कुरु कर्म त्वं कर्म ज्यायुष्य कर्मणः शरीरयात्रापि च ते न प्रसिद्ध्येद कर्मणः परित्राणाय साधूनां विनाशाय च दुष्कृतां धर्म संस्थापनार्थाय सम्भवामि युगे युगे संन्यासः कर्मयोगश्च निःश्रेयसकरावुभौ तयोस्तु कर्म संन्यासात् कर्मयोगो विशिष्यते असंशयं महाबाहो मनो दुर्निग्रहं चलम् अभ्यासेन तु कौन्तेय वैराग्येन च गृह्यते दैवी ह्येषा गुणमयी मम माया दुरत्यया मामेव ये प्रपद्यन्ते मायामेतां तरन्ति ते अन्तकाले च मामेव स्मरन्मुक्त्वा कळेबरं यः प्रयाति समद्भावं याति नास्त्यत्र संशयः.
So this is the revision we finished. Now we'll end this session. Sarve bhavantu sukhinah, sarve santu niramaya, sarve bhadrani pashyantu, ma kaschid dukkha bhag bhavet. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om. Thank you all for joining this session.